Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Hello, Leafs fans. Welcome back to another Game Over Toronto. I'm Harnish, and I have my constant co-host with me, Armaan, here today. But before we actually get into the game today, we want to take a moment to reflect on today. As many of you guys know, today is Remembrance Day. It's a day to reflect and appreciate all that our soldiers have done and given up to defend and protect our country. So I urge you to take a minute to reflect, and if you can, please donate towards the cause. Um, Now, back to the hockey. We have a fun episode for y'all today. Obviously, we'll talk about the disappointing game. It was competitive, but still, the end result is a disappointment, right? We should be getting 2 points out of that game. But outside of that, I mean, hey, it's Hockey Hall of Fame weekend, baby. We'll talk about this year's class as well as a special a special Leafs player that was honored during the festivities today. Before we get into that, though, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Sports Interaction. Want to bet? You can do it at Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook. Football continues, basketball is back, and the hockey season is well underway. Bet pre-game, live in play, or on one of our many prop bets. Made for Canadians by Canadians. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Ontario only, 19 and older. Please play responsibly. Now, Armaan, this game. What can we say? I mean, the Leafs honestly play up to and play down to their competition, right? It's been a running theme, and I mean, we just came back off of some huge wins last week against the Bruins and the Hurricanes, and we got a point off against the Golden Knights, right? We should have gone two, honestly, if we're speaking candidly over here. But three of the best teams in the league, right? And now we're on the first half of a back-to-back playing against the Penguins. Tomorrow we'll play against the Canucks. Two teams that have honestly been looking pretty shaky. We should get 2 points each out of those. And I mean, especially against the Penguins. I mean, how do I even begin to describe a team that up until Wednesday was on a 7 game losing streak, right? I mean that the house is just on fire over there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they really were floundering for a while. The Penguins, I think, they're a good team. Like, they are a good team in terms of actual players. So it is tough because they had a disappointing start as well. But I do think it was a competitive game at least. It was
Yeah,
frustrating though, very frustrating.
exactly. And it was weird because I mean the Leafs, they started all right. Honestly, in my opinion, they started great, right? Defensively, at least, I'll say. They were back checking well. They were getting sticks in the lane. I mean, when the Penguins had a couple great shot attempts, we always had a man. We always had a stick in our path, right? And they were just playing great lockdown defense. And it kind of worked out for them because I mean afterwards Zach Aston-Reese he's struck first, right, getting a goal against his former team, right? um but what was your thoughts on that start?
The first period I thought was okay. Defensively, I did think we were pretty solid throughout. Like you said, uh, um, we were getting sticks in lanes and shooting lanes, and we were blocking shots left and right. The issue mainly was that we weren't really getting any offensive zone time. That was a bit of a tough start to be in a position to have to play defensively that much because of our offensive generation in the first period was pretty much null. At least on 5-on-5, our power plays were pretty solid, but in 5-on-5 we weren't really generating much. But with that being said, defensively they looked really solid, in my opinion, all game. The first period was just what more was to come later on. We were getting sticks and lanes and doing a good job back checking, but it's tough to win when you're only generating so many shots on 5-on-5,
Definitely.
especially in that first period. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll get to your comments, everyone in the chat, so make sure you let us know what your thoughts are about the start and the game in general. But um I think a huge issue in this game was honestly those bounces, right? We
Yeah.
had a ton of unlucky, weird bounces and deflections. I mean, Willie witnessed it firsthand, where not only did he just miss the net by just this much, a couple centimeters, right? I mean, it didn't go in. I mean, it hit the post, right? And then even after that, the deflection off the post was just a foot or less away from Tavares, right, where he could have got an easy rebound as well, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
he ended up making up for it a
Pretty
couple
soon
minutes
after.
later. Exactly. But I mean, you heard him in the break, right? He said that he wishes that he had two there, and he should have had two there. Definitely agreed. But it was good to see him just mentally dialed in. I thought Willie was one of the best Leafs out there tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Willie was great. And, to speak on the bad bounces, it was tough today. It seemed like we were really getting screwed over by bounces. Like, even on the second Penguins goal, Mitch Marner had a 2-on-0, and it just hits the skate and goes a little too far. And, the bad bounces kind of it ended up biting the Leafs in the butt today. And there's a bit of unluckiness related to that, but I thought the Leafs up until the third period were pretty resilient, and then I do not think they played a good third period.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
barely generated any offense within the last 18 minutes. I think it was something like point 0.1 expected goals total within that last 18 minutes, and you were down by a goal, just a single goal, throughout that entire time. And that's the worst part of the game for me, rather than the first two goals. I thought the third period was probably the roughest out of all three, when that's sort of the most frustrating part, when it's in the clutch. We kind of floundered, but up until then, the bounces just didn't go our way, but I thought we were pretty resilient. Like, after that second goal throughout the second period, I thought we generated a ton of offense. And we got only rewarded once on that Nylander goal, but that was after the post. That was after. So it's they did show some resilience, but it wasn't for the full 60, and it wasn't when it mattered, And
Yeah.
that's the toughest spot to be in, for this Leafs team, So it's tough because if we go goal by goal, we can see a bad bounce here. Like, on the first goal, it deflects right onto Malkin's stick. But,
Yeah.
in that situation, you know, Hall could have got there if he stayed on Malkin. Like, Malkin was his man, and he sort of drifted away. And that's, you know, bad luck happens, but there are ways to mitigate, some of the scoring chances, even when, a bad deflection goes off, and
Hmm.
sometimes it's positioning. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a tough loss, especially because that third goal, Kallgren had such a good game going up until then, and just one bad goal can cost you.
Yeah,
And
it was unfortunate. And at that point,
yeah,
like, you go into OT, who knows what happens, right? If you're still in that game. But yeah, even that second goal, I want to talk about that one, right? Because Marner had a great breakaway attempt, right? And then it just comes back the other way, and the Leafs just looked like they were caught flat-footed, right? They weren't
yeah,
able to transition back and play back, and it led to an easy goal, right? So it was just weird situations all around, and there's a lot of people in the chat talking about Matthews and Marner having an off night, right? And Marner, you could see, I mean, he was obviously frustrated, right? He had a couple great
yeah,
attempts. He was unlucky on a couple of them. He had some weird bounces, but his passing also looked a little bit suspect today. I think that's an issue that I noticed throughout the game for the Leafs, where a lot of the passes, it looks like they were passing to the skates, right? Not to actually to the stick, right? So you saw a couple times where instead of being able to capitalize on a breakaway, they had to take a second to collect, and then the Penguins were right there after them, right? They were right on their heels, and it's a wasted opportunity, right? And
yeah,
Marner, you could tell. I mean, he showed his frustration. He always shows his emotions on his sleeve, right? And you
yeah.
could tell he was kind of getting annoyed of it today as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Marner, I think probably, yeah, he's one I think I noticed while even when we were tied or even winning, uh, his passes were a bit off the mark. Even on the first power play, that was a really good power play, and I want to shout out the power play in general. I thought we had a really good power play today. But there was a play where he passed behind Matthews, and Matthews had to make a really, really skilled play to kind of keep that puck alive. And it's a bit uncharacteristic to see Marner sort of miss so many passes today, but it's just a bit of an off game for him. this was one of the games where, we talk about splitting them up. I might have done that, if I were
Hmm.
Keefe, especially in that third period when we weren't really generating much. I think I would have definitely shuffled the lines to get Marner off if Matthews there, just because, I thought it worked in I forgot what game we did that in. Was it
I think we did that against the Hurricane.
Hurricanes? Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
did
did
it
it with the
against the Canes. Yeah,
Hurricanes. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I would have probably leaned on that a little more. I thought this would have been a good time to do it, especially within that last 18 minutes when we weren't really generating anything on the offense and we couldn't transition well enough. The Penguins, credit to them, did a really good job locking it down after that. But
Hmm.
when you have the star players you do on the Leafs, you shouldn't be getting locked down. You're getting paid more than that and it was an off game for Marner specifically. I thought Matthews was okay, but I think he obviously didn't play to his potential either. But yeah, it was again Willie and JT's line really doing a lot of the offensive work, uh, and the power play as well, of course. But 5v5, I think, we still need some work on that top line, and I would like to see us move away from that every now and again when it isn't working.
Yeah, definitely. I think flexibility is important, right? And seeing some movement, especially when you're down, is going to be key. Um, yeah, it was kind of weird because it seemed like they're fixing these issues that we saw earlier on in the season, especially with their defensive side, right? I thought they played a good defensive game today, but now it's just bringing the pieces up slowly, right? They always had a I kind of always noticed that they seem like they were not passing correctly. They're not completing a lot of their passes, right? And it seems like it's just steps that you need to take one by one to try to build up to the potential that we see on this team, right? Or that we know that can come out of this team, right?
Yeah,
Um, are they the best team in the league? Probably not. Are they as bad as a lot of people are saying? Also probably not, right?
yeah, no,
I think
come on.
it's a good
There's a happy medium there.
exactly. It's a
We're
step
not.
in the right
Yeah,
direction. Losing to the Penguins, I mean, that's obviously not good.
yeah, and like it was a frustrating game in that like it was competitive for the first two periods, but like again, that third period was just you want to see more from them when they're down one.
Yeah.
I like they just didn't really do much there. But overall, I think the defensive game was solid, as you said today.
Mhm.
Like on the topic of Kallgren, at least, he played really well within those first two periods, but
Definitely.
he does have the habit of letting that one bad goal in every game. I thought he gave the Leafs a chance to win the game, and that's pretty much what you can ask from
Third
your third
stringer.
or fourth stringer goalie.
Exactly.
We're in a tough position right now. We're
Yeah.
we're trying to keep afloat with some goaltending that isn't ideal. So obviously I'm not going to blame him for playing to his level.
Mhm.
We know what he is, and he played to that level, and he gave us a chance to win. But that third goal was just, oh, it was so frustrating because
Yeah.
of
He had a great
because
game leading up to
yeah,
that. Exactly.
yeah, and we did a really good job within that end of the second period. We had the momentum going into the third, so that just kind of sunk us really. But it is what it is. I expected the Leafs to bounce back better than they did after letting that third goal in. But
Yeah.
it's
But
just tough to see them, yeah, do
yeah.
that.
And I mean we the next game it looks likely that Kallgren's not going to be playing. I mean, it's the second half of back to back. They're playing against the Canucks, another team that they should win. But more importantly, it looks like Matt Murray might be coming back into the lineup. That's looking a little nice. I'm excited for that. He's been
Potentially.
potentially, yeah. He's been practicing and he's been skating, and he's looking like he's ready to make that next step. Obviously, I don't want to rush him because I kind of want to see Keith Petrozelli skate up or lace up his skates. Um, but regardless, I mean, it's exciting to see Matt Murray finally looking closer to getting back on the ice for us, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we're in a bit of a tough position right now, but at the same time, I don't want him to be rushed
Hmm.
exactly. Just because, with his injury troubles, I don't want to put him in a position where he gets injured, within it, like Peter Mrazek did pretty much every time he came back. Murray, yeah, he needs to be fully 100% before I want him back in, even with our goalie troubles right now and not having Ilya Samsonov. I think the Leafs are in a position where they can sort of weather the storm here. But at the same time, it'd be nice to have him back. It'd be nice to have an NHL goalie back. Either way, you either get Matt Murray or Keith Petruzzelli tomorrow, and that's a story either way. I'm curious to see how either of them do. So it'll be an interesting watch tomorrow to see how they fare against the Canucks, who are also in complete disarray as a team.
Hey, they've
Shout
had
out,
some good
shout out game
games,
over
but
Vancouver
yeah.
and Kaya with the screams, but yeah, it's been rough in Canucks land. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that the Leafs can sort of take advantage, even though they're on the second half of a back-to-back. I'm expecting them to kind of come out strong and expose some of the weaknesses that the Canucks have right now, especially within their confidence. They're doing like team meetings now and stuff like that. This is where I think the killer instinct that the Leafs constantly talk about needs to come in play. Because today I don't think they showcased it very well within that third period.
Yep.
But up until then, they were pretty resilient. So I just want to see a full 60 from them tomorrow. Just
Yeah.
showcase that full 60 and show that you have that killer instinct to beat a team that's currently sort of in disarray as well.
Exactly.
So,
It's going to be
yeah.
interesting to see how they move forward from this. It's going to be a fun game over. You can tune into that tomorrow. This is my quick plug for the episode. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can see if the Leafs actually manage to bounce back or if they crumble again under the pressure. So it's gonna be fun either way. There's a lot of great shows on SDPN over here, and you can always listen to the podcasts on all of your podcast platforms. But we have to talk about the importance of this weekend. I mean, it is the Hockey Hall of Fame weekend, right? We got to see the new class of 2022. And boy, did we have some great legends in there, right? There was a lot of Swedish players as well, but
and a lot of Canucks as well.
Exactly. Let's give each one of them their dues, though. Starting off with Riikka Salonen. Riikka is one of the greatest female hockey players of all time. She's won 5 championships in the Finnish league. She's won 7 championship medals and 2 Olympic medals. It's funny, her last Olympic medal was in 2014, where she came out of retirement after 11 years. This is to become the oldest player to ever win an Olympic medal in the Olympics.
Wow,
That is
I didn't know that.
Crazy
That's legendary.
stat. Yeah. And then obviously the 2 Swedish legends from Vancouver, Daniel and Henrik Sedin, right? Listen, I'm so surprised Brian Burke was able to finesse that draft to be able to draft both of them. I still don't know how he worked his damn magic, but goddamn, did they end up winning that?
Oh yeah.
They both.
Do you know who was first overall there?
Sorry?
1999. Do you know who was first overall? Right before Daniel and Henrik got picked?
No, who was it?
Patrick Stefan, who was out of the league by 2000. I don't know. Patrick Stefan. He's most notable, and I feel really bad for him for the highlight play where he flubbed an empty net goal breakaway.
Oh yeah.
And then they got scored against within like 6 seconds.
Did he just get kicked out right after that? They're just like, all right, he's not worth it.
He really was. That like ruined his career. It was like a really embarrassing moment. But
all right, I feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
But listen, it worked out for these two, number 2.
Worked out for Brian Burke. I mean, come on, that's insane.
You got a spot on the Leafs because of that. But both the Sedins, they won gold in 2006 Winter Olympics alongside another Swedish legend that's going to be introduced later, and they won 4 championships each. Now that other Swedish legend was a pain in the Leafs' ass, Daniel Alfredsson. Boy, was Alfie a pain in our ass, right? That Battle of Ontario, though, fantastic. He is an Ottawa legend, though. I feel like he's the face of the franchise. I mean, he was the captain for 14 damn years.
100%.
God damn. 6 championships, that gold medal game, as we mentioned as well. He played alongside the Sedin twins. And yeah, I mean, what more can we say about Alfie? He's great to see, and he gave the daps to Willie out there. He's
the Swedish connection.
That was sweet. That was real cool. And the last player on this this Hall of Fame class, Roberto Luongo. Oh, he holds a special place in my heart after that 2010 Winter Olympics run. But listen, that's not the only gold medal he's won. He's won in 2014 as well. God damn. And he was on that Canucks team. He missed out on a Stanley Cup. I don't want to have to go into that any further, but I mean, his resume speaks for himself. He's won 2 goddamn gold medals, 2 championships, 1 silver, a gold in the World Cup in 2004, and a silver in the World Juniors. Wow, has he had a fantastic career. And finally, Herb Carnegie. Herb is widely regarded as the best black hockey player to never play in the NHL. He had honestly a great career playing hockey. He played center in that first all black line in the semi-pro. He also went and captured a championship in the QHL. Following his retirement, Mr. Carnegie devoted his life to hockey and just bringing the spirit of hockey. He founded Future Aces, one of Canada's first hockey schools, as well as introduced Future Aces Creed to promote attitude, cooperation, example, and sportsmanship, which the Creed actually continues today. So hats off to him for that. I mean, he was also named to the Order of Ontario and Order of Canada. So that is your class of 2022. Congratulations to all you legends. Much respect, and you guys are heroes to a lot of people around the world.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's we're sort of the generation where now the people who are getting inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame we actually grew up watching, which is nice to see. The Sedins and the Luongo and Alfie and all those guys. We were there for most of their careers, watching them as kids, and I remember a lot of
Are you
fond
trying to
memories.
call me old
Especially,
right now?
I mean, I'm older than you, so
By
chill
a
out.
year.
But yeah, they were really solid players. Like Luongo and Brodeur were like the reason that I chose to be a goalie when I was younger,
You were a
and playing
goalie?
hockey. Yeah, when I from like 9 till 18.
Bro,
Now I play defense, but yeah.
can you even, like, when you stand up, can you reach the net? Like, what?
Okay, so most people don't know my height. I'm 5'4", so that's why he's joking about that. But
I'm sorry, low blow. Okay,
yes,
keep going.
there's no position in hockey that's suitable for a person who's 5'4", by the way. So
You just
that
skate
joke
under their
works
legs.
anyways.
That's Listen, you can beat me in ice hockey, road hockey.
But
I'll
yeah,
beat your ass, but
yeah,
uh,
Alfredson, like I remember, like to put a Leaf angle on this, I
mhm.
remember my favorite like clip of him is when he mocked Sundin doing the stick throw. When like back in the day when Sundin got a game misconduct because after he broke his stick he threw it into the stands.
Uh-huh.
I think it was an accident, but later on Alfie broke his stick in a Leafs game and mocked throwing it over, and Leafs media and fans went absolutely nuts because he was really hated by the Leafs. He was a thorn in our side for a very long time. But looking back, it's funny. It's a funny clip. He showed a lot of personality, and obviously there's a lot of respect for him, within the league, and in the intermission, he named Sundin as the person he's most excited to be in the hall with. So obviously, there's a lot of respect between those players, especially the Swedish players, and
Yeah.
the Swedish angle. It's really good to see guys like Sundin and most importantly today Borja Salming,
Mhm.
in the crowd and being the person to introduce the inductees and being on that
Yeah.
lineup. Yeah, it was just really really good
And then
to see some legends. Yeah.
exactly, and seeing Borja out there was really heartwarming. I mean, seeing him stand in and the stand-in ovation that he got from all the fans, the love that he received. I mean, he is diagnosed with ALS and he's going through that tough battle, but you can see how strong he is, and what he means to not only fans but the team and the rest of the personnel on the Leafs, right? Um, he is a Leafs legend. I mean, he's a legendary defenseman. He donned the Leaf for like 16 seasons. Um, he just seeing the reaction that he got and the applause was just so heartwarming. And then especially seeing like Sandin holding him up
Yeah.
was just really cool. It was just so sweet to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's both like heartwarming and heartbreaking. Just you know, the ALS diagnosis,
Yeah.
He announced it like earlier this year. It's so soon to see that sort of deterioration, but
Mhm.
it was really heartwarming to see the kind of respect and the applause he got. And, you know, seeing Daryl Sittler beside him sort of also choked up when he was holding up his hand. Uh, you know, he's the Leafs legend. You know, most assists on the Leafs all time out of any position. He has the most goals as a D-man on the Leafs. You know, second most points by a Swedish D-man in the entire league, and he's only behind probably, well, in my opinion, the best defenseman of all time, Nick Lidstrom. So good company to be in. And he's the first Swedish player in the Hockey Hall of Fame. You know, he is a legend of the game, not only to the Leafs franchise, but to hockey in general. He's done a really, you know, he was such a big part of, you know, introducing European players to the league. Uh, and so it was really nice to see him, you know,
Yeah.
in the arena, standing and you know, reacting and putting his hands up and taking it all in. He's definitely someone who deserves, like, you know, all the praise he gets. Legend of the game. Boreas Salming is a legend. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just
There's
want
so
to give him
many
his dues.
comments by a lot of the Swedes. I mean, Willie talked about it in the intermission about the importance of the importance that he had with all Swedish players and really paving the path. I mean, he was the first Swede to actually be inducted to the Hall of Fame. A
Yeah.
funny stat, but yeah, it was just really nice to see him up there and alongside all the different legends, Sundin up there as well, Sittler and the rest of the new class. Right, it's cool to see everybody up there, and it was a great festivities. I mean, congratulations to all of them.
If
Hats off.
only the Leafs won for Boria. Come on. Just on today. Like, just pull it off.
They
The
played
third
decent
period, you could have
defense
done it.
though. They played
Yeah, but who
decent
cares?
defense
They
for
didn't
him.
play offense. Like, the third period, man. I'm actually so salty about it.
Yeah,
They were they were doing all right up until then.
I was honestly, I thought they were going to be able to pull through even when they in the last 2 minutes when they pulled the goalie. I was like, you know what? I feel like we can get this done. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, anyway, I mean, we have tomorrow to see if our minds change, right? They have they can get redemption pretty quickly, and it all depends on how they start and end the game. It's not just about starting on time anymore. They
Yeah.
need to end the
You
game
gotta end right.
good
Yeah.
as well. Exactly. So we'll see how they play tomorrow. They're playing against the Canucks, another team that they should be winning against. Yeah,
We've been saying that a lot.
listen, they play up to and also down to the competition. It's so weird.
Yeah, it is what
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's so hard to like analyze this team sometimes with the up and downs that they have in their play, but that's the point of being a Leafs fan. The
Exactly.
roller coaster.
We live for it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna do it here from us. Thank you guys for watching again. For Remembrance Day, make sure you give some time and if you can, make sure you donate to all the brave soldiers out there, right? Um, Again, great seeing all the legends, great seeing Boria up there. Again, donations to the ALS. Uh, as well for the cause, and yeah, we'll see how we bounce back tomorrow against the Canucks. But that's gonna do it here from us. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification to tune in tomorrow for Game Over and see all the other shows that we have available. You can see the podcast on all your different podcast platforms. Peace.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.